and we are in a series called Becoming Marriageable, and today is the last part of it. If you've missed any of them, we want to invite you to our YouTube page. Go to Catalyst Christian on YouTube, and you can watch all of our sermons. Make sure you don't miss any of the ones in this series, because they will really bless your home. And I've saved the best one for last, and it's simply called God First. And the main thing is this: as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. All right, so if you're visiting with us, we may have a simple request of you. Visit 4 times. Come 4 times and see if this is the church for you. We would love for you to be part of our church family. So don't just visit once. Visit at least 4 times before you make a decision. We just ask you to do that. So in the church, the term God first, I think, has become a cliche. I think we throw that around a lot. We just kind of say, yeah, God first. But I don't really believe that most of us take that seriously. Or even worse, we don't know what that looks like. What does that mean? Okay? And so we're going to talk about that today. The family, the couple, the married couple, the dating couple, the engaged couple, the single person that puts God first is going to look very different than people that don't. And so in Joshua chapter 24, 14 through 15, Joshua is the leader of the Israelites who had taken over from Moses. And at the end of his life, he gives this admonition. He says this: "Now fear the Lord and serve him with all faithfulness. Throw away the gods your ancestors worshiped beyond the Euphrates River and in Egypt, and serve the Lord. But if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you," in other words, if putting God first doesn't really jive with you, "then choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you are living. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." So Joshua tells us something that most of us have never really heard before, okay? He tells us this: to put God first, number 1, you must examine what you inherited. Now, some of you all grew up in Christian homes. Some of you did not. But all of us received an inheritance, not necessarily financial, from our parents. Habits, things that we picked up that were passed on to us. And so what Joshua tells us is this: listen, your ancestors, your parents, your grandparents, they were not faithful to God. They did not put God first. Do not follow them. See, guys, it is not disrespectful for us to think critically about what our parents handed us. It's not disrespectful at all, because the Bible is telling us, do not be like the ones who were disobedient. If you were handed a disobedient family, if you were handed a lukewarm inheritance, it is okay for you to do things differently than what you inherited. Guys, not everything passed on to you by your parents and grandparents is godly. Let's just talk about my pet peeve here. Why don't people come to church when it's raining? I wonder if you all maybe grew up watching your parents not come to church when it's raining. It's raining, we're not going today. And I wonder if their parents had done that, and their parents had done that. See, it makes no sense to me with modern automobiles and everything like that why people would be afraid of rain. But maybe 150 years ago, you actually, when it was raining, you had to go and chase the team out in the pasture and grab them and hook them up to the horse and buggy and everything. And that was a big deal. Maybe you didn't go to church when it was raining like that, but you grew up in a home and you were just repeating this thing without even thinking about it. I wonder about that, but that's just a pet peeve of mine. What about the bigger things? What if you were inherited addiction? What if you inherited alcoholism? What if you inherited unbelief or divorce or adultery or these things that have been mainstays in your family? Joshua's saying, do not be like that. Throw away these gods that your ancestors worship Okay? Throw away alcoholism, adultery, unbelief, lukewarmness, Christmas and Easter attendance. These things are not pleasing to God. And so we must examine what we inherited, you all. We must think critically about the faith of our parents. And if you were handed a lukewarm faith, then you are not to be like them. You are to put God first. Examine critically what you've inherited and follow God. The second thing that we must do, if we're going to put God first, we're going to have to stay hungry. Okay? Now, what do I mean by stay hungry? This is what I mean. One of my favorite parables is in Luke chapter 14, 16 through 20. Jesus tells a parable. He says, a man threw a huge wedding feast, a huge feast, and he invited all his buddies, he invited all his friends, all his relatives, and he said, I've thrown open, I spent the budget, I've got food, I've got the house decorated, I've got everything ready. And he invites everyone to the feast. But here in chapter Luke 14, 16 through 20, certain man was preparing a great banquet and invited many guests. Time of banquet, he sent his servant to tell those who had been invited, come, for everything is now ready. But they all alike began to make excuses. The first said, I've just bought a field and I must go see it, please excuse me. Another said, I've just bought 5 yoke of oxen, I'm on my way to try them out, please excuse me. Still another said, I just got married so I can't come. Now, is there anything wrong with those things? Anything wrong with buying a field? Anything wrong with getting a team of oxen? Anything wrong with getting married? No, not in the slightest. Those are all blessings from God. But the problem, church, is that the blessings from God can take the place of God Himself. And when the blessings of God become more important to you than God, then you have what's called an idol problem, an idolatry problem. Okay? When the blessings of God, the things that He gives you, become more important than God, you have a major problem. What is it really that keeps you away from the banqueting table of God's love? Is it really murder? Is it really kidnapping? Is it adultery? Is it stealing? Is it violence? No, not for all the ill that Satan can do. What will keep you away from putting God first are God's gifts, His blessings. God has given us a nation that is at peace. We don't have a civil war. We don't have roaming gangs of thugs like in lawless regions in the world. He's given us peace. He's given us safety. And He's given us comfort. And when that comfort becomes more important than God Himself, you have an idol problem. God has given Americans more money than any people on the face of the planet and history. But when that money becomes more important than God Himself, you have an idol problem. God has given us sports. He's given us a leisure. He's given us more. We've got more leisure time than any person and any people in history. But when that leisure becomes more important than God Himself, you have an idol problem. I was over in India several years ago. India and Nepal, we do missions over there, and they're a Hindu country. They're not Christian. They're Hindus. Hinduism is the majority, and Hinduism is ripe with idolatry. There's literally a statue, an image of a god on every corner, on every house. There are images, and people bow down and worship them. They have these temples where people are bowing down and burning incense to these statues. We went to the monkey temple in Nepal where people are worshiping monkeys. I'm not kidding. They worship monkeys. And there were these images, and there's a line of people to burn incense to this image of this false Hindu god. I've seen it. The thing with Hindus, though, is at least they're honest about their idolatry. They're not scheming like Christians are. I was talking to a pastor friend of mine from India. I said, would you ever like to do ministry in America? He goes, oh, no, I could never do ministry in America. There's way too much idolatry there. And I'm like, we're literally looking at a statue, an idol that is being worshiped. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, oh man, you have huge temples to your idols. They're called sports stadiums that you go to every weekend. And you worship athletes. You know everything about them. You know more about athletes than you know about God. Because you have these huge stadiums to worship your musicians, and you worship as the musicians sing. Because I can't compete with that. He goes, there's a restaurant every 10 yards on a street in America to the God of your stomach and gluttony. He goes, I could never do ministry in America. There's too much idolatry in a country that is ripe with idols. He said that. What is it truly that is keeping you from putting God first? Isn't it His blessings? Isn't it the good things that He has given you, that you have elevated above God? That is what will keep you from putting God first. That will keep you from the banqueting table of God's love. If you really look at all the ill that Satan can do in your life, what will keep you away from the banquet table that God is inviting you to, His grace, His love, His mercy, are simply the good things that He's blessed you with. So if we're going to put God first, we must stay hungry. We must not allow our appetite for heaven to be dulled by the blessings that God gives us. The third thing that we have to do, we talk about this at Catalyst, and we'll talk about it till we're blue in the face, is there are 4 things when you put God first, 4 things that God gets. If you're going to be a God-first Christian, after examining our inheritance, after keeping His blessings in the right place, then God gets 4 things. If you're going to be a God-first Christian, God gets these 4 things. The first thing He gets is He gets the first day of the week. Sunday is the first day of the week. This is God's day. It is holy to Him, and it's time the church started acting like it. Sunday is not just another day in the calendar. It's time we start prioritizing and honoring the day that God has determined to be for us to worship Him. Hebrews 10:24 says this: let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. We are to get together. We are to meet together as a church. We should not be in the habit of not attending worship. Okay? Around here, we have the mantra, the motto, that Sunday is for worship only. Sunday is for worship only, and the couple or the person that puts God first says Sunday is for worship only. If I were Satan and I was trying to destroy the Christian faith, I would not try to get people to stop believing in Jesus. That's foolish. There's no way that Satan could ever accomplish that. The knowledge of Jesus is too hardwired into our DNA. There's too much evidence of God. There's no way, no one but the most foolish among us would say that God doesn't exist. Okay? None but the most foolish among us. I know that every time I persecute the church, all the church does is grow. So what do I do if I'm Satan? I've got a brilliant idea, and I'm going to take out the Christian faith. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell them to stop believing in Jesus. Oh, no. I'm going to tell them that they can be a great Christian and do your own thing at home. I don't need to be part of the church. I'm just going to tell them you can live out the commands of Jesus by yourself. Just study the Bible in your own home. Do your own thing at home. You don't need the church. Because if that were to happen, what if every Christian was to do that? What if every Christian was next week to not one Christian goes to church, not one meets together, you just do your own little thing at home? What would happen? The Christian faith would die out in one generation because we would quarantine ourselves away from the people that need the gospel. If I were Satan, I know that I couldn't stop the Christian faith. I would try to contain it, and I would try to stop it from spreading. And the one place where the gospel is preached, where everyone is welcome, where people are hearing about Jesus, and where disciples are being done, is the church. And if I could get Christians to stop going to church, I could quarantine it, and I could isolate it, and when they die, the faith would die too. Brilliant strategy. And so many Christians are falling for it. Sunday's just another day. My day to play sports, my day to do laundry, my day to go hunting, my day to relax, sleep in, rest, go shopping. That's all that is. I can do my own thing at home. And there's an unbroken line. If you're a Christian today, there's an unbroken line from Jesus himself. Person, shared person, all the way for 2,000 years to you, and you stop it. You're the last one in your line to hear about Jesus. If I were Satan, that's how I would destroy the church. See, guys, if we're going to put God first, God gets the first day of the week. Sunday is for worship only. When I was a young kid, I remember seeing the movie Chariots of Fire. It's about a runner named Eric Liddell, who was a Scottish runner, and he was the fastest guy in the UK. He was bound for the Olympics. He was a diehard Christian, and he was the fastest. He was on the Olympics. He was favored to win the gold. And he found out that the heat he was running in the 100 meters was going to be on a Sunday. And he said, Sunday belongs to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I have never run on a Sunday. I've never exercised on Sunday. Sunday belongs to the Lord, and I will not run. Can you imagine all the work and preparation, the dream of any athlete to represent your nation in the Olympics? And he said, my Lord and Savior gets the first day of the week. I will not run. And the fireworks, when a firestorm went off, he was supposed to win the gold. And he withdrew. And he switched with another guy. And he ran the 400. And he won the gold in the 400. It's a great movie. I highly recommend watching it. But he was not going to surrender his Sabbath for anything. And I would love to see that conviction in the hearts of Christians in this church, that God gets the first day of the week. Sunday is for worship only. Let me tell you, this is another reason why we say Sunday is for worship only. If you notice, if you've been here, if you notice, there's not a lot of drama here on Sunday mornings. There's not a lot of complaining Sunday mornings. There's not a lot of issues like that going on. That's by design. We have a policy that Sunday, when we're here, we are here to worship God. We're not here to complain. We're not here to solve problems. We're not here to have our concerns addressed. No, that's what Monday through Saturday is for. And so here, when you come into this worship gathering, our leaders have instructions to guard this worship service. If someone says, hey, well, I don't like the ways, Sunday's for worship only. Let's meet this Monday, and I'll listen to you. Well, I think that my kids should be, no, Sunday's for worship only. We'll address that tomorrow. Send me an email. Let's have lunch. Let's talk about it outside of the worship gathering. Because I was talking with an elder. He told me not here, but at a different church, what his Sunday morning was like. And he said, I hate Sunday mornings. He goes, the second I get there, somebody's running up to me telling me about some plumbing issue that I have to deal with. And then somebody tells me they don't like the way that so-and-so treated their kid on the youth retreat, and I need to go address it. And then so-and-so tells me they're probably leaving the church because they don't like the way sister so-and-so handled the Christmas pageant. And it's just nothing but complaining and problems and everything. And I'm 15 minutes late to worship, and I'm in a terrible mood, and I can't even worship. And I thought to myself, elder, it is your job to guard Sunday morning so that kind of stuff happens Monday through Saturday. Yes, we will deal with problems, but not Sunday morning. Now, if the building's on fire, we'll deal with that. Okay? If someone's getting murdered in the parking lot, we'll deal with that. But other than that, Sunday is for worship only. Do not bring complaints, issues, drama, gossip into our worship gathering. Bring a heart ready to worship. We'll deal with the problems Monday through Saturday. Okay, that is a policy. God gets the first day of the week. Second thing that God gets, he gets the first part of your morning. If we put God first, he gets the first part of our morning. Mark 1:35 says this, very early in the morning while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. All right? If Jesus thought that getting up early in the morning and going and praying is probably a good reason for it, we should probably follow that as well. Okay? I found this in my life, that whatever I give my first moments to is what dictates the rest of my day. If I open up this stupid thing and get on social media first thing in the morning, I'm irritable. I don't know. It just dictates my entire day. I don't feel effective. I spin my wheels. I'm not productive. If I give that first, but if I give the first moments of my morning to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in prayer, scripture reading, I feel completely ready for the day. I feel more effective during the day. Let me tell you what I did this morning. And this is my morning routine. I wake up early. I always have been, ever since I was a kid. But the first thing I do, I say, good morning, Lord. And the second thing I do, I pray for my children. I pray for them that the Lord would keep them on the path that leads to Him. Because I know the age of my kids, well, it's just very, very difficult. All the stresses, all the strains, everything. I pray for them. I pray for my sons-in-law that they would be the men that my daughters need them to be. I pray for my son who's single out in San Diego and at Camp Pendleton. I pray that he continues to walk the path that leads to him. Then I pray for you all, my church family. I ask the Holy Spirit to bring to mind people that are having struggles, that are having trouble, that are going through things, and I pray for you. The third thing, that I pray for the lost. I pray for people that don't know Jesus Christ. I pray for people in this community. I even pray for people in this church. I know that there are people in this church family, as wonderful as you are, you don't know Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. You've never surrendered, and I'm praying for that every morning. And then I pray to God that God would use me this day to accomplish His will. Lord, you've given me 2 hands. You've given me 10 hours. You've given me my resources, and use me to accomplish your will. That's what I pray. That's how I spend my morning. He gets the first part of my morning. It was very wisely said that a day hemmed in by prayer is less likely to become unraveled. A day that starts with prayer and ends with prayer is less likely to become unraveled. Give it a shot and see what happens. God gets the first day of the week. He gets the first part of our morning. Third thing, He gets the first say in every decision. First say in every decision. Do not tell me you are putting God first if God does not have the first say in your decisions. Don't lie to yourself, and don't lie to me. And certainly don't lie to God. Right, Romans 12, 1-2 says this, therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. We are not supposed to be affirmed. We're not supposed to be a pat on the back and told we're okay. We are to be transformed. We are to live life as a living sacrifice. We're supposed to go to Jesus and die and say, not my will, but yours be done. Your way, not mine, your way. The couple who puts God first, everything else a distant second, gives God the first say in every decision, from career decisions to money decisions to marriage decisions to time management and everything else in between. God gets the first say. We do this out of a deep love for God, trusting and having faith that His ways are best. The problem is that many of us don't truly believe God's ways are best. We're like the prodigal son in Luke 15 that chafes living under God's ways because we know there's something better over there. And we'll leave, even though we have a huge inheritance coming, we chafe and we want the blessings now and we want to do what we want. And we're tired of working the fields, tired of God telling us no, to be patient, to wait. So against the admonition and pleas of our Father, we set off for a foreign land to do whatever we want to do. And things go great until they don't. Soon we're destitute, broken, starving, discouraged. Laying in the pigsty, we realize that God's ways are truly best. And had we given Him the first say in every decision, we wouldn't be in the mess we're in right now. As a pastor, I've seen the shipwreck, you guys. So many lives have become because they did not do things God's way. They thought they knew better than God. I've seen people self-destruct by disobeying God's word. I've seen homes devastated because of disregard of God's ways. I've seen marriages destroyed by adultery and pornography and violence. I've seen children affected for life because of abuse and neglect. I've seen homes stressed beyond imagination because of unwise financial decisions that resulted in staggering debt and loss. You guys, I've seen it all. And it all comes back to one thing. Had God had first say, they would not be in the situation they're in now. Here's the truth. I've never seen a marriage, an engagement, a single person, a home, whatever, destroyed by following God's ways. Never once. You will be amazed at how peaceful your life is when you stop making trouble for yourself. I want you to think about this past week. The troubles that you've had. Who caused them? You can point your finger at somebody else, but we all know the truth. The cause of your problems is the person looking at you in the mirror. And had you done things God's way, giving God first say, not insisted on your own way, you wouldn't have had those troubles. When you stop creating problems for yourself, people, and you do things God's way, you're amazed at how peaceful life is. Remember, you guys, sin will always take you further than you ever wanted to go. It'll make you stay longer than you ever wanted to stay. And it'll make you pay far more than you ever wanted to pay. So God gets first say in our decisions. To the married couples in here, does God get first say in your home? To the engaged couples, does God get the first say in your relationship? To the dating couples, does God get first say? To the single people, does God get first say? Are you looking up at God every day and saying, not my will, yours? I'm going to do things your way. That's what it means to put God first. God isn't impressed by words, but when you allow Him, you surrender your ways and do things God's way, that's pleasing to Him. And the fourth thing that we put, God gets the first tenth of your income. Now, I found this story. This is about tithing. I've read it 100 times, and I never realized it was about tithing until God just showed me this. All right? So people are like, well, why would I give God the first tenth of my income? Why would I do that? Well, check this out. The same guy who said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, okay? He was the guy that led the nation of Israel into the promised land. Now, the problem is, in the promised land, there are all a bunch of people there that were hostile to God and hostile to them. And so they had to do a little bit of fighting. And the first city that they were supposed to take was the city of Jericho. It was a big walled city. And so they approached it, and God says this to Joshua in Joshua 6, 1 through 2. Now the gates of Jericho were securely barred because of the Israelites. No one went in, no one came out, no one went out, no one came in. The Lord said to Joshua, see, I've delivered Jericho into your hands, along with its king and fighting men. And Joshua's leaning into that. He goes, God, maybe you misspoke. You mean you will deliver. Because they're up there and we're down here. You mean you will deliver. No, God says, no, Joshua. It's already done. The outcome's already determined. All you have to do is follow what I say. I have delivered Jericho into your hands. It's over. Just walk my path. And He's saying the same thing to you today. There's victory in your future. He's already decided it. All you have to do is walk the path. Now the question is, are you going to walk the path? Well, Joshua says, okay, what do you want us to do? And God said, I want you to walk around the city once a day for 7 days. And the seventh day, I want you to walk around 7 times. Joshua's like, that is insane. That's ridiculous. You don't take a city that way. But I'll walk your path. Makes no sense to me, but I'll walk your path. So the command is this. 7th time around, When the priest sounded the trumpet blast, Joshua commanded the army, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city and all it is to be devoted to the Lord. Only Rahab the prostitute and all who were with her in her house shall be spared, because she hid the spies we sent. But keep away from the devoted things, so you will not bring about your own destruction by taking any of them. Otherwise you will make the camp of Israel liable to destruction and bring trouble on it. All the silver and gold, the articles of bronze and iron are sacred to the Lord and must go into his treasury." Now, this is the command. God says, everything in Jericho belongs to me. You are not to take 1 cent. Okay? You go in, I'm going to give you this city, and all the plunder that armies normally take, no, it all comes to me. Every cent comes to me. You're not to take any of it. Now, Israel's like, you got to be kidding me. We're used to taking the plunder. As a matter of fact, we fought for it. It's ours. We earned it. How dare God tell us to give everything to him? How dare he? We fought for it. We earned this. But that was the command. Now, unfortunately, not much has changed. They're about as faithful as most of us are. And so we get the problem, Joshua 7:1, but the Israelites were unfaithful in regard to the devoted things. Achan, son of Carmi, son of Zimri, son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took some of them. So the Lord's anger burned against Israel. So he disregarded what God said. He was given a clear command to give everything they took in Jericho to God. And he's like, nah, I know better than God. I'm just going to keep a little bit for myself. After all, I earned it. I worked for it. It's mine. Okay? Well, that's the problem. Now, the consequence is that the next day they're going to take the next city, a city called Ai. And they were expecting the Lord to give them this great victory like he did at Jericho. And they go to fight. And it's the exact opposite. All right, 3,000 went up, 3,000, but they were routed by the men of Ai, who killed about 36 of them. They chased the Israelites from the city gate as far as the stone quarries and struck them down on the slopes. At this, the hearts of the people melted in fear and became like water. So there were 36 widows created that day. 72 orphans probably or more created that day. Why? Because of one man's disobedience. See, in our American understanding, we think that our sin is just us. We don't see that our sin and our disobedience to God has consequences on other people. How many of us grew up in the shadow of someone else's disobedience? How many of you all are families of addiction, families of divorce, family of unbelief, families of incarceration? And you grew up in the shadow of someone else's sin, and it affected you. In the same way, one person's disobedience can destroy a church, can destroy a family, can destroy a legacy. If you think that your disobedience to God only affects you, this story begs to differ. There were 36 widows created that day. The hearts of people melted in fear. So Joshua goes to the Lord and says, Lord, what is going on? Why did we suffer a defeat? And he says, listen, there's sin in the camp. A guy named Achan disobeyed. And so he goes to Achan in Joshua 7:19-25. And Joshua, this is the correction. Then Joshua said to Achan, my son, give glory to the Lord, the God of Israel, and honor him. Tell me what you've done. Do not hide it from me. Achan replied, it is true. I've sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel. This is what I've done. When I saw the plunder of a beautiful robe from Babylonia, 200 shekels of silver, and a bar of gold weighing 50 shekels, I coveted them and took them. They're hidden in the ground inside my tent with the silver underneath. So Joshua sent messengers, and they ran to the tent, and there it is, hidden in his tent with the silver underneath. They took the things from the tent, brought them to Joshua and all the Israelites, and spread them out before the Lord. Then Joshua, together with all Israel, took Achan, son of Zerah, the silver, the robe, the gold bar, his sons and daughters, cattle, donkeys, and sheep, his tent, and all he had, to the valley of Achor. Then Joshua said, why have you brought this trouble on us? The Lord will bring trouble on you today. Then all Israel stoned him, and after they stoned the rest, they burned them. Achan's disobedience, his greed, cost him his life of his wives and children, all his possessions, everything. That was the correction And after the correction, then comes the victory. Joshua 8, 1 through 2. The Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Take the whole army with you and go attack Ai. For I have delivered, there it is, have delivered into your hands the king of Ai's people, a city and a land. Now look at verse 2. You shall do to Ai and his king as you did to Jericho and his king, except that you may carry off their plunder and livestock for yourselves. Set an ambush behind the city. They give God what is first. They give God the tithe of Jericho. And God says, I will open Ai to you. I will open this city, this city, this city. You can keep it all. You can keep it all. Now that you've given me what is first, now I'm sending you there. I'm going to give you victory there, and victory there, and victory there, and victory there. And I'm going to open the whole land to you because you gave me what was first. And now you can keep it all. You can keep it all. That is how God works. That is why we give God the first tenth of our income, because He opens the whole land to us when we do. Now, if they had not obeyed God and just kept everything from Jericho for themselves, yeah, they would have gotten some money, yeah. They would have gone to Ai, defeat, and they would have been sitting around going, God, where are you? Why aren't you helping us? You must not be real. You must not exist. And God is saying, I'm waiting for you to follow me so that I can open the land to you. But because you won't give me the first tenth, everything's closed to you. Your opportunities are closed to you. The land is closed to you. I want to prosper you, but you got to do it my way. You got to put me first. And look what happens in Joshua 11:23. 3 chapters later, he's conquered every city, and he's taken the entire land. So Joshua took the entire land, just as the Lord had directed Moses, and he gave it as an inheritance to Israel according to their tribal divisions. The land had a rest from war. God wants you to take the entire land, people. He wants you to be living in victory. The question is, are you going to give him Jericho? Are you going to give him what's first? Because that is how you open the land. That is this story. That this story is a true happening, but it's also a metaphor for us. If you've been living in defeat, if your family's been living in defeat, maybe it's time to take the Word of God seriously. God first, people. It's time to stop playing church. It's time to get serious of putting God first in everything. No more wavering between two opinions. No more compromise. No more one foot in the church, one foot in the world. No more spiritual splits. Choose for yourselves this day, church, who it is you will serve. As for me and my house, we'll serve the Lord. That's what I want for every one of you today. Every home represented here. I would love for you to walk out of here saying, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Maybe you walked in here this morning as an idolater. You've taken the blessings of God and you put them over God himself, so that when God says, listen, put me first, you get angry because one of his blessings is occupying the number one spot in your heart. And you're saying no to God's invitation because you like his blessings more than the banquet table that he's prepared for you. Maybe you've just never seen anyone live in victory. You're just living in Jericho, keeping all the stuff for yourself and experiencing defeat and defeat and defeat. And you've never seen victory. You don't even know what that looks like. Well, maybe it's time to take the step of faith and put God first. God gets the first day of the week. It's the first part of our morning. He gets the first say in every decision. He gets the first tenth of our income. And when that happens, God blesses and prospers and gives and gives and gives. He blesses those who are obedient to him. Church, so what is it going to be? And let's say as a church, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. God bless you. We'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.